The stars were burning. Commander Sarah Chun watched the screens in the deep space monitoring station hidden beneath the lunar surface. Each bright flash on her display meant another world had died. Another billion lives snuffed out in the endless war that had consumed the galaxy for 30 years. "Contact bearing 074, called out Lieutenant Martinez from his station. "Hegemony Battle Group, 12 ships." "They're heading for the Centauri system." Sarah nodded. She had been tracking this particular fleet for 3 days. The aliens, in their massive ships, had no idea that humans were watching every move they made. Earth had stayed hidden in the shadows while the galaxy tore itself apart. The war had started over something humans could barely understand. Two vast alien empires, the Hegemony Alliance and the Void Collective, had been fighting over resources and territory for decades. What began as border disputes had grown into total war. Entire star systems had been wiped out. Planets cracked, open like eggs. Species driven to extinction. And through it all, Earth had watched and learned. Dr. James Park entered the command center carrying a steaming cup of coffee. The chief scientist looked tired. He had been working 8-hour days. For the past month, analyzing the latest alien technology samples their hidden probes had collected from battlefields. "Any new developments?" he asked, settling into the chair next to Sarah. "The usual," she replied, pointing to the main display. "The void ships are massing near Volf 359. The hegemony is pulling back from the outer rim. Both sides are getting desperate." James studied the tactical display. Red dots marked hegemony positions. Blue showed the Void Collective. The map of local space looked like a disease spreading through healthy tissue. "Our analysis teams finished looking at that wreckage from the Vega battle," James said. "The energy weapons are more advanced than we thought. They can punch through 6 meters of titanium steel like it was paper." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. The aliens' casual destruction of entire worlds made humanity's nuclear weapons look like firecrackers. Yet Earth's leaders had made the right choice 30 years ago when First Contact had revealed the Galactic War. Stay hidden. Stay neutral. Stay alive. The policy had worked. Both alien factions had dismissed Earth as another primitive world. Their scans showed a planet with basic technology, chemical rockets, and radio signals. Nothing worth conquering. Nothing that could threaten them. They had no idea how wrong they were. In the decades since the war began, humanity had been busy. Deep space monitoring stations tracked every alien ship movement. Hidden facilities in the asteroid belt reverse-engineered captured technology. Earth's brightest minds worked in secret to understand and improve upon alien science. "Sir," Martinez called out, "we're getting reports from Station Gamma, large energy signatures near Jupiter." Sarah's blood turned cold. Station Gamma monitored the outer solar system. Nothing alien was supposed to come that close to Earth. "Put it on screen," she ordered. The main display shifted to show a real-time feed from Jupiter space. For a moment, Sarah saw nothing but the familiar sight of the gas giant and its moons. Then the space near Ao began to shimmer. "Hyperspace emergence," James whispered. A massive ship appeared as if materializing from nothing. The vessel was over 2 kilometers long, bristling with weapon arrays and armor plating. Sarah recognized the design immediately from her databases. "Hegemony Dreadnought," she said. "What's it doing here?" Her question was answered seconds later when more ships dropped out of hyperspace. These were smaller, angular vessels painted in dark colors that seemed to absorb light. Void Collective hunters. "They're fighting," Martinez reported, his voice tight with tension. "The hegemony ship is damaged. Hull breaches on multiple decks. The Void ships are closing in." Sarah watched in horror as the battle unfolded in Earth's backyard. Beams of pure energy lanced between the ships. The hegemony dreadnought fired back with weapons that turned space itself into a weapon. One of the Void hunters simply ceased to exist, vaporized in an instant, but the big ship was dying. Atmosphere vented from dozens of holes in its hull. Its engines flickered and went dark. The remaining Void ships circled like sharks, preparing to finish their prey. "Get me a secure line to Earth Command," Sarah ordered. Priority Alpha. Within minutes, she was connected to Admiral Harrison, the head of Earth's Secret Defense Forces. The old soldier listened grimly as Sarah reported the battle taking place near Jupiter. How close are they to our installations? He asked. Too close, Sarah replied. If they detect our monitoring stations, our cover is blown. And sir, there's something else. Long-range scans show debris heading toward the inner system. Some of it is on course for Europa. Europa, the mining colony that housed 300 civilian workers and their families. The first permanent human settlement beyond Mars. If alien debris struck the colony, evacuate Europa immediately, Admiral Harrison ordered. Full emergency protocols. And Sarah, prepare the fleet. Sarah felt her heart skip a beat. The fleet. For 30 years, humanity had been building ships in secret. Vessels designed with everything they had learned from watching the aliens fight. The fleet was supposed to be Earth's last line of defense if the war ever came to the solar system. It looked like that day had arrived. Understood, sir, she said. The connection ended, and Sarah turned back to her screens. The battle near Jupiter was ending. The hegemony dreadnought was dead in space, its hull split open like a broken toy. The void ships were already moving away, heading back toward their own territory, but the damage was done. Pieces of destroyed alien ships were scattered throughout the outer solar system. Some chunks of debris were the size of city blocks, and they were all moving toward the inner planets at tremendous speed. Sir, Martinez called out, Europa colony is not responding to evacuation orders. Their communications array was damaged in yesterday's solar storm. They don't know what's coming. Sarah closed her eyes for a moment. 300 innocent people, miners and engineers and their families. They had come to Europa to build humanity's future among the stars. Now they were about to become the first human casualties of the Galactic War. Time to impact? She asked. 14 hours, Martinez replied. 14 hours to save 300 lives. 14 hours before Earth's neutrality would be shattered. Forever. Sarah opened a new communication channel. This one encrypted with quantum codes that no alien technology could break. This is Deep Watch Command to all stations, she announced. Operation Silver Shield is now active. All units prepare for immediate deployment. Across the solar system, hidden facilities came alive. On the far side of the moon, massive hangar doors opened for the first time in 20 years. In the asteroid belt, ships that had been disguised as mining equipment shed their camouflage. Near Pluto, a battle station that officially did not exist began charging its weapons. Humanity had spent 3 decades preparing for this moment. They had watched the galaxy burn while building their own defenses. They had learned from every alien battle, studied every weapon, analyzed every tactic. The aliens thought Earth was weak and primitive. They thought humans were not worth their attention. They were about to discover how wrong they had been. Dr. Park stood beside Sarah as reports flooded in from across the solar system. Ships were launching. Crews that had trained for years in secret or taken their positions. The hidden defense network that protected Earth was coming online. Do you think we're ready? He asked quietly. Sarah watched the tactical display update as human ships began moving toward the outer system. Each vessel represented years of work and sacrifice. They carried the hopes and fears of an entire world. We have to be, she said. Because ready or not, the war just came to us. In the depths of space, alien debris continued its deadly journey toward Europa. But now it was being tracked by sensors the aliens did not know existed. Human ships were moving to intercept. And on Earth, leaders who had spent decades planning for this day were giving orders that would change the course of galactic history. The age of human neutrality was ending. What came next would determine whether humanity joined the ranks of extinct species or took its place among the stars as something the galaxy had never seen before. The Watchers were about to become warriors. The first human ship to reveal itself was the Terra's shield. Captain Maria Santos watched the massive piece of alien debris spinning toward Europa through her ship's main viewer. The chunk of metal and exotic materials was the size of a football. stadium and moving at 30,000 kilometers per hour. If it hit the mining colony, 300 people would die in an instant. Distance to target? She asked her weapons officer. 50,000 kilometers in closing, Lieutenant Commander Zhang replied. Impact with Europa in 47 minutes. Maria had trained for this moment for 15 years. Her ship was one of 20 vessels in humanity's secret defense fleet. Built in hidden shipyards throughout the solar system, the Terra's shield looked nothing like the alien warships that had been fighting across the galaxy. Where alien ships were massive and heavily armored, human vessels were sleek and fast. The Terra's shield was only 400 meters long, but it packed weapons and defenses that had taken decades to develop. Every system had been designed after careful study of alien technology and tactics. Target locked, Zhang announced. Particle beam ready. Fire, Maria ordered. A beam of charged particles lanced out from the Terra's shield. The energy struck the debris and turned it into glowing vapor in seconds. The threat to Europa was gone, but Maria knew this was only the beginning. Captain, her communications officer called out. We're getting a priority signal from Earth Command. Admiral Harrison wants to speak with you directly. The main viewer switched to show the weathered face of Admiral Harrison. Behind him, Maria could see the busy command center deep beneath the Colorado mountains. Good work, Captain Santos, the Admiral said. But we have a bigger problem. Long-range sensors are picking up more alien ships heading our way, both hegemony and void forces. They detected the energy signature from that battle near Jupiter. Maria felt her stomach drop. For 30 years, humanity had stayed hidden by avoiding any actions that might reveal their presence. But saving Europa had required using their weapons. Now the aliens knew something was in the Sol system. How long do we have? She asked. 6 hours, Harrison replied. Maybe less. The lead ships are moving fast. They want to investigate what happened to their people. Through her ship's sensors, Maria could detect the approaching alien vessels. 3 hegemony cruisers and 2 void destroyers. Each ship was larger and more heavily armed than anything in the human fleet. Under normal circumstances, 5 alien warships could destroy every human installation in the solar system without breaking a sweat, but these were not normal circumstances. Humanity had not been idle during the decades of galactic war. Admiral, Maria said, requesting permission to activate the full defense grid. Harrison was quiet for a long moment. Maria knew what he was thinking. Once they revealed Earth's true capabilities, there would be no going back. The galaxy would know that humans were not the primitive species they appeared to be. Permission granted, Harrison said finally. All ships, all stations, Code 7 authorization. Full defensive posture. Across the solar system, humanity's hidden defenses came alive. Near Mars, weapon platforms that had been disguised as asteroids powered up their particle cannons. In the belt between Mars and Jupiter, automated defense drones emerged from hidden storage bays. Around Earth itself, orbital battle stations that had been invisible to alien sensors suddenly appeared as their stealth systems shut down, but the most impressive sight was the fleet itself. 20 human warships emerged from their hiding places. Throughout the solar system, they moved with perfect coordination, their quantum communication systems, allowing them to act as a single unit. Maria watched the tactical display as the human ships took their positions. Each vessel was painted in the deep blue of Earth's oceans, with the white and green symbol of the United Nations on their hulls. They looked small compared to the approaching alien forces, but Maria knew appearances could be deceiving. Unknown vessels, came a transmission on standard galactic frequencies. This is War Commander Thex of the Hegemony Alliance. You are in violation of neutral space. Identify yourselves immediately. Maria looked to Admiral Harrison for guidance. The Admiral nodded. This is Captain Maria Santos of the Earth Defense Force, she replied. You are in violation of Terran space. Your weapons fire damaged our civilian installations and threatened the lives of our people. There was a long pause. When the alien commander spoke again, his voice carried surprise and confusion. Earth Defense Force? Our records show that Earth is a primitive world. Your people have barely achieved spaceflight. Your records are incomplete, Maria said calmly. We demand an explanation for the attack on our territory. The alien ships had slowed as they approached the inner solar system. Maria could see them on her sensors, massive vessels bristling with weapons. The lead hegemony cruiser was over a kilometer long and carried enough firepower to level a city, but the aliens were hesitating. They had expected to find wreckage and perhaps some primitive space stations. Instead, they faced an organized fleet that spoke with confidence and authority. There's been no attack on your people, War Commander Dex replied. We were pursuing enemy forces. Any damage to your installations was accidental. 300 of our people died when your debris hit Europa, Maria said, her voice hard. That makes it an attack. She was lying, of course. The evacuation had been successful. Every person on Europa had made it to the emergency shelters before the debris struck. But the aliens did not need to know that Dot from the Void ships came a different voice, harsh and mechanical. Hegemony scum, the Void commander said. Your carelessness has involved another species in our conflict. The humans have every right to demand compensation. Stay out of this, Void filth, Dex snapped back. This is between us and the humans. Maria realized that the aliens were more concerned about each other than about the human ships. Even now, facing an unknown force, their hatred for each other dominated their thinking. Both of you will explain your presence in our system, she said firmly. And both of you will compensate us for the damage you have caused. The two alien fleets had formed up in opposing formations, their weapons trained on each other as much as on the human ships. Maria could see the tension building. These forces had been fighting each other for so long that they could barely resist. The urge to attack. Captain, her sensor officer called out quietly, I'm detecting weapons charges building in both fleets. They're preparing to fight each other. Maria nodded. This was exactly what Earth strategists had predicted. The alien factions were so consumed by their war that they could not focus on anything else for long. All human ships, she broadcast on the secure quantum channel, prepare to demonstrate our capabilities. Target the weapon systems only. We want to disable, not destroy. The human fleet spread out in a complex formation that confused the alien commanders. Instead of the simple battle lines favored by both factions, the Earth ships moved in 3 dimensions using tactics that no galactic military had ever developed. Unknown human vessels, War Commander Dex said. You will withdraw from this area immediately. We have business with the Void forces. This is our system, Maria replied. You will conduct no military operations here without our permission. The hegemony commander laughed, a sound like grinding metal. Your ships are primitive. Your weapons are weak. You cannot threaten us. Are you sure about that? Maria asked it. She gave the signal. 20 human ships fired simultaneously. But instead of the energy beams or missiles the aliens expected, they used weapons based on principles no galactic civilization had developed. Quantum disruptors that passed through alien shields as if they did not exist. Gravity pulse cannons that twisted space itself into a weapon. The effect was immediate and devastating. Every weapon system on every alien ship simply stopped working. Their shields collapsed. Their engines went dead. Their communication arrays went silent. 5 of the most advanced warships in the galaxy were rendered helpless in less than 10 seconds. War Commander. Vex's voice came through on emergency frequencies, filled with shock and confusion. Impossible, he whispered. Our shields, our weapons, ... How did you ... We have been watching your war for 30 years, Maria said calmly. We have studied every weapon, analyzed every tactic, recorded every battle. Did you really think we learned nothing? The Void Commander's mechanical voice carried a note of fear. What are you? We are humans, Maria replied. And this is our home? You brought your war here? You threatened our people? That was a mistake. Admiral Harrison's voice came through on the command frequency. Captain Santos, both alien fleets are sending distress signals. Their home governments will know what happened here within hours. Maria nodded. There would be no hiding now. Within days, every major power in the galaxy would know that Earth was not the primitive world they had believed. The secret that humanity had kept for 3 decades was finally out. What happens now? She asked. Now, Harrison said grimly, we find out if 30 years of preparation was enough. On her sensors, Maria could see more ships approaching from deep space. Word was spreading fast through the galactic communication networks. Soon, Earth would face visitors from dozens of alien civilizations, all wanting to understand how a primitive species had developed weapons that could disable their most advanced warships. The age of human isolation was over. The galaxy was about to discover that the quiet little world in the outer rim had been hiding the most dangerous secret of all. They had been preparing for war. The meeting room beneath Geneva was the most secure place on Earth. Dr. Elena Vasquez checked her notes one final time as she waited for the alien delegates to arrive. As Earth's chief xenobiologist and head of the First Contact Committee, she would be humanity's voice in the most important negotiations in human history. The room itself had been designed to impress. High ceilings, polished marble floors, and walls lined with displays showing Earth cities, forests, and oceans. The message was clear. This was a world worth protecting. They're coming through the transport now, her assistant announced. Elena took a deep breath. 3 days had passed since the incident in Jupiter space. 3 days of frantic preparation as Earth's leaders decided how to handle the galaxy's attention. The disabled alien ships had been towed to a neutral station near Saturn. Their crews treated with respect but kept under guard. The first to enter was War Commander Thex of the Hegemony Alliance. The alien stood nearly 3 meters tall, his body covered in scales that shifted from silver to gold in the light. His forearms moved with military precision, and his large eyes missed nothing as they scanned the room. Behind him came Shadow Weaver Crix of the Void Collective. The Void being was harder to look at directly, its form seeming to bend light around itself. Dark robes hid most of its body, but Elena could see the occasional glimpse of pale skin and too many joints. Both aliens had come with small diplomatic teams, but Elena noticed how they positioned themselves as far apart as possible. Even here, in a neutral meeting, their hatred for each other was obvious. Welcome to Earth, Elena said, standing to greet them. I am Dr. Elena Vasquez. I speak for the United Nations of Earth in these proceedings. War Commander Thex examined her with obvious confusion. You are quite small, he said. Are you certain you have the authority to negotiate with warrior commanders? I am certain, Elena replied calmly. She had expected this reaction. Most galactic species valued physical size and strength above all else. They would learn that humans were different. Shadow Weaver Crix spoke in a voice like whispers in an empty room. Your people have surprised us, Dr. Vasquez. Our intelligence suggested that Earth was a primitive world. Your intelligence was incomplete. Elena said, Please sit. We have much to discuss. The aliens took their places at the curved table, their teams arranging themselves behind them. Elena activated the room's holographic display system, causing both delegations to tense at the unexpected technology. For 30 years, Elena began, we have watched your war consume the galaxy. We have recorded every battle, analyzed every weapon, studied every tactic. The display showed a 3-dimensional map of local space, with thousands of red markers indicating battle sites. The scope of the destruction was staggering even from a distance. Impossible, War Commander Thex sighed. We would have detected your observation posts, would you? Elena asked. She gestured, and the display changed to show footage of alien battles. The images were crystal clear, showing details that could only have been captured by someone very close to the action. Both alien commanders leaned forward, studying the recordings with growing alarm. These were classified battles, secret operations that no outsider should have witnessed. The Battle of Kepler Station, Elena said as the display showed hegemony forces destroying a civilian habitat. 7 million non-combatants died when your Forces targeted the life support systems. War Commander Thex's scales shifted to a darker color. That was a military necessity. The station was harboring Void sympathizers. Were the children sympathizers too? Elena asked quietly. The display changed again, showing Void collective ships using biological weapons against a colony world. The death toll had been 12 million. The purge of Vega Prime, Elena continued. Your people released a plague that killed everything larger than an insect. Shadow Weaver Crix remained motionless. The colony refused to surrender. They chose their fate. Elena studied both aliens carefully. She had spent years preparing for this moment, learning about their psychologies, their cultures, their justifications for the horrors they had committed. Do you know what we found most interesting about your war? She asked. Both commanders waited for her to continue. Neither of you remember why it started. The silence that followed was deafening. Elena could see the truth in their reactions. After 30 years of killing, the original cause of the conflict had been lost in hatred and revenge. The war began, Elena said, consulting her notes, over mining rights in the Tau Ceti system. A trade dispute that escalated when a hegemony merchant vessel fired on a Void customs ship. That is not important, War Commander Thex sighed, but his voice lacked conviction. Billions of lives, Elena continued, hundreds of worlds, entire species driven to extinction. All because two civilizations could not negotiate a trade agreement. She let that sink in before continuing. You came to our system to continue your war. Your actions threatened our people. Now you both seek our alliance, believing we are just another primitive species to exploit. Elena stood and walked to the display controls. The hologram changed to show Earth cities, teeming with life and activity. Let me be clear about something, she said. Earth has no interest in your war. We do not care about your trade disputes or your territorial claims. We care about the innocent beings caught in the crossfire. War Commander Thex leaned forward aggressively. You cannot remain neutral forever. The galaxy is divided. You must choose a side. Must we? Elena asked. She activated another display, this one showing the current positions of all alien forces in local space. We count 47 different species actively fighting in your war. How many of them chose their side freely? Shadow Weaver Crix shifted in its chair. Many species have joined us willingly. After you conquered their homeworlds, Elena said. After you gave them the choice between service and extinction, the alien delegations began to look uncomfortable. They were used to negotiations with species that feared them, that begged for mercy or sought to join the winning side. Elena showed no such fear. We have a different proposal, she said. The display changed again, showing a detailed map of the Sol system. But now it revealed the true extent of Earth's defenses. Orbital platforms, hidden bases, patrol routes for dozens of ships. This is our space, Elena said. No military vessels from either faction will be permitted here without our permission. Any ship that enters Sol system will be stopped and searched. Any crew that commits hostile acts will be detained. War Commander Thex stood abruptly, his scales flashing with anger. You dare to threaten us? Your ships may have surprised us once, but we have fleets that could crush your entire world. Could you? Elena asked calmly. The display shifted one final time, showing long-range sensor data from across the galaxy. Elena had been saving this revelation for the right moment. We have been watching you for 30 years, she said. We know the location of every major fleet, every supply depot, every command center. We know your battle plans before your own commanders do. The alien delegation stared at the display in shock. The data was impossibly detailed, showing ship movements and strategic positions that should have been highly classified. How? Shadow Weaver Crix whispered. We learned from you, Elena said. Every piece of technology you discarded, we studied. Every communication you broadcast, we intercepted. Every weakness you revealed, we noted. She walked around the table, meeting the eyes of each alien delegate. You fight with passion and hatred, she continued. You make decisions based on emotion, and pride. But we have been watching with cold calculation, learning everything we need to know to defend ourselves. War Commander Thex slammed his fist on the table. What do you want from us? Elena returned to her seat. We want you to stop fighting in our space. We want compensation for the damage you caused to our installations. And we want you to consider our proposal for ending this war. You would mediate between us? Shadow Weaver Crix asked, its voice carrying a note of surprise. No, Elena said. We would enforce peace. She activated one final display, showing a section of space near Earth. It was marked as a neutral zone with clearly defined boundaries and patrol routes. This will be a ceasefire zone, she announced. Any refugee from your war will find sanctuary here. Any ship that approaches peacefully will be welcome. But any attempt to bring weapons or violence into this space will be met with immediate response. Unacceptable, War Commander Thex declared. We cannot allow Void Forces to use your territory as a safe haven. Equally unacceptable, Shadow Weaver Crix agreed. Hegemony ships cannot be permitted to resupply in neutral space. Elena smiled for the first time since the meeting began. Then perhaps you should end your war. The aliens stared at her in shock. The concept was so simple, yet so foreign to their thinking that they seemed unable to process it. 30 years of fighting, Elena said quietly. Trillions dead. Countless worlds destroyed. And for what? You have both forgotten why you even started this conflict. She stood and moved to the window that looked out over Lake Geneva. The peaceful scene of boats on calm water seemed like another universe compared to the galactic war zone the aliens knew. Humanity offers you something neither side has had in decades, she said. A chance to stop fighting, a chance to rebuild. A chance to remember what you were before the war consumed everything you cared about. When she turned back to the aliens, she saw something unexpected in their eyes. Not anger or defiance, but uncertainty. For the first time in years, someone had offered them an alternative to endless war. You cannot enforce peace across the galaxy, War Commander Thex said, but his voice lacked its earlier conviction. Can't we? Elena asked. You came here expecting to find primitives. Instead, you found weapons that could disable your most advanced ships. What else do you think we might have developed in 30 years of preparation? The meeting ended without resolution, but Elena knew she had planted seeds of doubt in both factions. As the alien delegates returned to their ships, they carried with them the knowledge that Earth was not just another species to be conquered or recruited. Humanity had positioned itself as something new in galactic politics. Not conquerors or victims, but guardians. And the galaxy was about to learn what that really meant. Captain Lisa Morrison knew they were testing humanity's resolve from the bridge of her ship. The Terra's hammer, she watched the hegemony blockade fleet take position around Mars. 12 massive warships had arrived during the night. Their weapons trained on the mining facilities and transport routes that connected the Red Planet to Earth. They're not responding to our warnings, her communications officer reported. War Commander Thex claims they have the right to inspect all vessels in this region. Lisa studied the tactical display. The alien ships were positioned to control every approach to Mars, effectively cutting off trade between the planets. It was a classic pressure tactic, designed to force Earth's hand without actually firing the first shot. Any word from the Void Forces? She asked. 3 of their ships just dropped mines around the Jupiter trade routes, Lieutenant Hayes replied, from his sensor station. They're calling it a safety precaution to protect shipping from hegemony raiders. Lisa shook her head. Both alien factions were playing the same game. They wanted to force humanity to choose sides by making neutrality impossible. What they did not understand was that every act of aggression only strengthened Earth's resolve. Captain, her tactical officer announced, we're receiving a priority transmission from Admiral Harrison. The main screen shifted to show the Admiral's weathered face. Behind him, Lisa could see the busy command center where Earth's military leaders were coordinating humanity's response to the alien pressure. Captain Morrison, Harrison said, the President has authorized Operation Clear Sky. You are to remove all unauthorized vessels from our space. Use whatever force is necessary. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. Operation Clear Sky was the contingency plan they had hoped never to use. It meant taking on both alien factions simultaneously, something that would have been suicide for any other species, but humanity had advantages the aliens did not know about. Understood, Admiral, she replied. What are our rules of engagement? Disable if possible, destroy if necessary, Harrison said grimly. But Lisa, make sure they understand that we are not to be underestimated. The transmission ended, and Lisa turned to her crew. The Terra's Hammer was one of the newest ships in Earth's fleet, built with technology that combined human innovation with 30 years of studying alien science. Her crew had trained for this moment their entire careers. All stations, battle. Ready? She announced. This is not a drill. Around her, the bridge came alive with activity. Weapon systems powered up, shields activated, and the ship's quantum communication array linked them instantly with every other human vessel in the solar system. Lisa opened a channel to the Hegemony blockade fleet. War Commander Thex, she said. This is Captain Morrison of the Earth Defense Force. You have 30 minutes to withdraw from Martian space. The alien commander's reply came quickly, his voice filled with amusement. Captain Morrison, you have one small ship. We have 12 warships, each more powerful than anything in your primitive fleet. Surely you do not intend to fight us? Actually, Lisa said calmly, I do. She cut the transmission and activated the fleet-wide communication system. Across the solar system, 20 human ships received her signal simultaneously. All vessels. This is Terra's Hammer, she announced. Execute Clear Sky. Target the blockade fleet. What happened next would have been impossible using conventional tactics. Instead of converging on the alien ships, the human fleet attacked from multiple directions at once. Ships that had been hidden throughout the asteroid belt suddenly appeared behind the Hegemony formation. Others emerged from the shadow of Mars's moons, but the most shocking surprise was the planet itself. Mars had been humanity's first major colony, established 50 years earlier as a mining and research outpost. What the aliens did not know was that the entire planet had been turned into a fortress during the decades of Galactic War, hidden beneath. The red dust were weapon emplacements that had been disguised as geological formations. The polar ice caps concealed massive shield generators. Even the orbital stations that appeared to be simple mining platforms were actually battle stations in disguise. Target locked, her weapons officer announced. Fire, Lisa ordered. The first salvo from the human fleet caught the Hegemony ships. Completely off guard. Instead of the energy weapons they expected, the Earthships used gravity distortion cannons that twisted space itself into a weapon. The alien shields, designed to deflect particle beams and plasma bursts, were useless against attacks that bypassed physical barriers entirely. War Commander Thex's flagship shuddered as its engines went offline. Around it, the other Hegemony ships found themselves unable to maneuver as human gravity weapons locked them in place. Impossible, Thex's voice crackled over the communication channels. Our sensors show no weapon signatures. How are you doing this? Lisa smiled grimly. The gravity weapons were one of humanity's greatest innovations, developed by studying the way black holes affected space-time. The aliens had never encountered anything like them because they required a deep understanding of physics that most species never developed. Surrender your ships, she broadcast to the alien fleet. This is your only warning. But the Hegemony commander was too proud to give up without a fight. His ships began returning fire, their massive energy cannons lighting up space with deadly brilliance. The human response was swift and devastating. Instead of trying to match the aliens' firepower, Earth's ships used their superior speed and coordination to strike from unexpected angles. They moved like a school of fish, each vessel knowing exactly where the others would be without any visible communication. Within minutes, half the Hegemony blockade was disabled. The remaining ships found themselves surrounded by human vessels that seemed to appear and disappear at will. How are they moving so fast? One of the alien commanders demanded over an open channel. The answer was another human innovation. While the aliens used subspace radio for communication, which had a slight delay even at the speed of light, humanity had developed quantum entanglement communicators. Each ship's computer was linked to every other ship instantaneously, allowing them to coordinate with perfect precision. "War Commander," Lisa called out to the lead hegemony ship. "Your options are surrender or destruction. Choose quickly." Before Vex could respond, new contacts appeared on the sensors. The Void Collective fleet that had been mining the Jupiter routes was approaching at maximum speed. "Hegemony scum," came the mechanical voice of Shadow Weaver Crix. "Your defeat brings us great pleasure. Perhaps now you will learn respect for superior forces." Lisa realized that the Void Commander had misunderstood the situation. Seeing the hegemony ships disabled, he assumed that humanity was allied with the collective. "Shadow Weaver Crix," Lisa said, "you are also in violation of our space. Withdraw immediately or face the same fate as the hegemony fleet." There was a moment of shocked silence before the Void Commander replied. "You dare threaten us as well? We came to assist you against our common enemy." "You came to exploit the situation," Lisa corrected. "We have no common enemies. We have no allies in your war. We want all of you out of our space." The Void ships had moved into weapons range, their dark hulls bristling with the exotic energy weapons they favored. These vessels were smaller than the hegemony ships but more maneuverable, designed for hit-and-run attacks. "You have made a grave error," Shadow Weaver Crix said. "We offered you partnership. Now you will learn the cost of refusing the collective." The Void ships attacked without further warning, their weapon systems charging with the distinctive whine of antimatter containment fields. But they found the same thing the hegemony had discovered: human defenses were unlike anything they had encountered. Lisa's ship fired its quantum disruptors, weapons that operated on principles the aliens had never imagined. Instead of destroying matter, they disrupted the fundamental forces that held atoms together. Void ships that were hit simply fell apart at the molecular level, their crews safely contained in emergency pods as their vessels ceased to exist. "Target their engines only," Lisa ordered her weapons officer. "We want prisoners, not casualties." The battle that followed was unlike anything in galactic history. Two of the most advanced alien fleets, representing civilizations that had fought for decades, were systematically disabled by a species they had dismissed as primitive. The human ships moved with a coordination that seemed impossible. They anticipated every alien tactic, countered every strategy, and responded to every threat with weapons that bypassed every known defense. Within an hour, both alien fleets were dead in space, their crews contained in emergency shelters, while human ships moved in to secure the disabled vessels. Lisa opened a channel to both alien commanders simultaneously. "This is Captain Morrison," she said. "Your fleets are captured. Your crews are safe, but will remain in our custody until this situation is resolved." War Commander Vex's voice carried a note of defeat. "How? Our ships are the finest in the galaxy. Our weapons can crack planets. How did you defeat us so easily?" "You fight the way you have always fought," Lisa replied. "With brute force and outdated tactics. We fight with our minds." Shadow Weaver Crix made a sound like static interference. "This is impossible. No single species can stand against both our fleets." "You're right," Lisa said. "No single species in your galaxy could do this. But we are not from your galaxies. Civilization. We developed independently, without your limitations." She activated her ship's holographic display system, broadcasting the signal to both alien fleets. The image showed Earth's solar system as it really was, not the primitive outpost the aliens had believed, but a fortress that had been prepared for decades. "You see weapons and think of destruction," Lisa continued. "You see enemies and think of conquest. But we see problems and think of solutions. We spent 30 years solving the problem of your war." Admiral Harrison's voice came over the secure channel. "Captain, we're detecting massive fleet movements throughout local space. Word is spreading fast. Every major power in the galaxy is sending ships to investigate." Lisa nodded. She had expected this. The defeat of both hegemony and void forces by an unknown species would send shockwaves throughout galactic civilization. How many ships? She asked. Conservative estimate? 200 vessels from 15 different species. They'll be here within the week. Lisa looked at the disabled alien ships floating in space around her. Two of the most powerful fleets in the galaxy. Defeated without a single human casualty. It was an impressive demonstration, but she knew it was only the beginning. The galaxy was about to learn that the quiet little world in the outer rim had developed something far more dangerous than advanced weapons. They had developed the ability to think differently, and that was going to change everything. The greatest fleet in galactic history hung in space above Earth. Admiral Marcus Rodriguez stood in the command center buried deep beneath the Cheyenne Mountains, watching the tactical display that showed 200 alien warships from 15 different species. They had come to investigate the rumors of a primitive world that had somehow defeated both hegemony and void forces. They had found something far more terrifying than they expected. Admiral, his communications officer reported, we're receiving surrender demands from 12 different species. They all claim authority over this sector. Marcus almost smiled at the irony. The galaxy's greatest powers had rushed to Earth expecting to find easy prey. Instead, they found themselves facing a mystery that challenged everything they thought they knew about warfare. Any response from our diplomatic channels? He asked. Dr. Vasquez reports that the alien ambassadors are demanding immediate explanations. They want to know how we developed our technology and whether we represent a threat to galactic stability, Marcus nodded. The aliens were afraid, though they would never admit it. For the first time in their history, they faced a species that had developed outside their understanding. Sir, the sensor officer called out, the lead hegemony vessel is moving toward Earth. Admiral Corvex himself is aboard. Marcus studied the massive dreadnought approaching his planet. Admiral Corvex commanded the largest fleet in hegemony space, a force that had conquered dozens of worlds. He was considered one of the finest military minds in the galaxy. He was about to learn how wrong that assessment was. Open a channel to all ships, Marcus ordered. His image appeared on screens throughout the solar system, visible to every alien vessel and their crews. When he spoke, his voice carried the authority of a species that had spent 30 years preparing for this moment. I am Admiral Marcus Rodriguez of the Earth Defense Force, he announced. You have entered our space without permission. You have brought weapons of war to our peaceful system. This ends now. Admiral Corvex responded immediately, his voice filled with the arrogance of a conqueror. Admiral Rodriguez, I command a fleet of 80 vessels. You are outnumbered and outgunned. Surrender your forces and submit to hegemony authority. Are we outnumbered? Marcus asked calmly. He activated Earth's true defense grid for the first time in its history. What the aliens had seen before was only a fraction of humanity's capabilities. Now, as stealth systems deactivated and hidden installations revealed themselves, the scope of Earth's preparations became clear. Weapon platforms emerged from asteroid fields where they had been disguised as mining equipment. Battle stations that had appeared to be space habitats powered up their defensive systems. The moon itself opened like a flower, revealing massive launch bays that had been hidden beneath its surface for decades, but the most shocking revelation was the fleet. What the aliens had thought was humanity's entire space force, 20 ships, was revealed to be just the advance guard. From hidden bases throughout the solar system came hundreds of human vessels, each one incorporating 30 years of technological advancement. Admiral Corvex, Marcus said, you came here with 80 ships, we have 500. You brought weapons designed to fight other aliens. We brought weapons designed to fight you specifically. The alien fleet commanders watched in growing horror as human ships surrounded them from every direction. These vessels moved with perfect coordination, their quantum communication systems allowing them to act as a single organism. Impossible, Admiral Corvex whispered. Our intelligence showed a primitive world with basic technology. Your intelligence showed you what we wanted you to see, Marcus replied. For 30 years, we have watched your wars and learned from your mistakes. Every battle you fought, we studied. Every weapon you used, we analyzed. Every tactic you employed, we countered. From the bridge of his flagship, Admiral Corvex could see the truth displayed on his sensors. The human fleet was not just larger than his own, it was technologically superior in ways that defied explanation. "How?" he demanded. Marcus activated the holographic display system, broadcasting to every alien ship simultaneously. The image showed a timeline of the Galactic War, with thousands of battles marked and analyzed. "You fight with emotion," Marcus explained. "Hatred, pride, fear, revenge. These feelings make you predictable." But we watched with cold logic, calculating the best way to defeat every strategy you developed. The display changed to show weapon specifications, revealing the extent of human innovation. Gravity distortion cannons that could crush ships like tin cans. Quantum disruptors that dissolved matter at the subatomic level. Shield generators that bent space-time itself. "You copied our technology," Admiral Corvex accused. "We improved upon it," Marcus corrected. "Your plasma cannons are powerful but inefficient. Our particle beams have 3 times the range and half the energy cost. Your shields block energy but not gravity. Our defenses protect against forces you have not even discovered yet." Shadow Weaver Crix's mechanical voice joined the conversation. "You cannot have developed all this in isolation." "Who are your allies?" "We have no allies," Marcus said. "We did not need them. We had something better, time and patience." The truth was both simple and devastating. While the galaxy's great powers had spent decades fighting each other, humanity had been building the most advanced military force in known space. They had done it slowly, carefully, learning from every alien mistake. "Admiral Rodriguez," came a new voice from the fleet. This was Prime Commander Zilith of the Crystalline Confederation, one of the galaxy's oldest civilizations. "Surely you do not intend to fight all of us simultaneously?" "Fight you?" Marcus asked. "No, Prime Commander, I intend to stop you." The human fleet moved with sudden, terrifying precision. 500 ships acted as one, their weapons targeting the engine systems of every alien vessel simultaneously. The attack came without warning and with overwhelming force. In less than 10 minutes, the greatest armada in galactic history was dead in space. The aliens' weapons never had a chance to fire. Their shields, designed to protect against energy attacks, were useless against weapons that bypassed conventional physics. Their communications were jammed by quantum interference. Their engines were disabled by gravity wells that prevented faster-than-light travel. 200 of the galaxy's most advanced warships had been reduced to helpless hulks without a single shot being fired in return. "This is impossible, Admiral," Corvex said, his voice filled with disbelief. "No species can develop such technology independently." "You keep saying that," Marcus observed. "But here we are." He opened a communication channel to the entire galaxy, broadcasting on frequencies that would reach every civilized world within days. "People of the galaxy," he began, "I am Admiral Marcus Rodriguez, speaking for the United Worlds of Earth. For 30 years we have watched your civilizations destroy each other in endless war. Today, that war ends." The message was being recorded by every ship in the fleet, transmitted to home worlds throughout known space. What Marcus said next would reshape galactic civilization. "We did not ask for this responsibility," he continued. "We wanted only to live in peace. But you brought your violence to our home. You threatened our people. You forced us to act." The display screen showed Earth as it really was, not a primitive world, but the most advanced civilization in the galaxy, cities that house billions in perfect harmony, oceans clean and blue, skies free of the pollution that marked most industrial worlds. "This is what we protected," Marcus said. "Not just our planet, but our way of life. We learned to solve problems instead of creating them. We chose cooperation over conquest." Admiral Corvex found his voice again. "What do you want from us?" End to the killing," Marcus replied simply. 30 years of war have accomplished nothing except death and destruction. It stops now. You cannot enforce peace across the entire galaxy, Prime Commander Zaleth protested. Even with your advanced technology, you cannot be everywhere at once. Marcus smiled for the first time since the battle began. Can't we? The holographic display changed to show a map of the galaxy. Hundreds of locations were marked with symbols that made the alien commanders gasp in recognition. Our observation posts, Marcus explained. We have been watching all of you for 3 decades. We know the location of every major fleet, every supply depot, every command center in civilized space. The implications hit the alien leaders like a physical blow. If humans could disable fleets this easily, and if they had been watching everything for 30 years, then nowhere in the galaxy was safe from their intervention. What you see here, Marcus continued, gesturing to the disabled fleets around, Earth is just the beginning. We have the capability to reach any system in known space within hours. Any commander who continues this war will find their ships disabled and their crews in protective custody. Shadow Weaver Crix made a sound, like breaking glass. You would impose your will on the entire galaxy? We would impose peace, Marcus corrected. Something you have all forgotten how to achieve. Dr. Elena Vasquez appeared on the communication channel, joining Marcus in the broadcast. Her diplomatic skills would be needed for what came next. The war is over, she announced. Not because we conquered you, but because we offer you something better. A chance to rebuild? A chance to remember what your civilizations were before they became obsessed with destruction. She activated a new display showing plans for reconstruction efforts across the galaxy. Refugee camps for displaced populations, medical aid for war-torn worlds. Technology sharing programs to help damaged civilizations recover. We offer this freely, Elena said. No strings attached. No demands for territory or tribute. We ask only that you choose peace over war. The alien commanders sat in stunned silence. They had come expecting to fight a primitive species. Instead, they found themselves facing beings who thought on a scale they could barely comprehend. And if we refuse? Admiral Korvax asked quietly. Marcus's expression grew cold. Then you will find your ships disabled every time you try to fight. Your weapons will fail, your communications will be jammed. Your wars will become impossible to conduct. This is tyranny, Prime Commander Zaleth protested. This is necessity, Marcus replied. You have proven that you cannot stop fighting on your own, so we will stop it for you? He paused, letting the weight of his words sink in. But we hope it will not come to that. We hope you will choose to join us in building something better than the galaxy you have created through war. The communication ended, leaving the disabled alien fleets to contemplate their situation. Around them, human ships maintained perfect formations. Their crews ready for any sign of continued hostility, but there would be no more fighting. The galaxy's greatest military powers had been defeated not through superior firepower, but through superior thinking. Humanity had solved the problem of galactic war by becoming strong enough to enforce peace. In the days that followed, the news would spread to every world in known space. The primitive species from the outer rim had become the galaxy's new guardians. The age of endless war was over, the age of human peace had begun.